All right, guys, so today we are going to be doing a review on the RealWild series of 3D targets, so stick around. All right, folks, so today I'm going to take you on a little tour of my backyard shooting range. Here behind my house in North Idaho, we've got a little wood lot that's about 5 acres or so, and I've got 8 3D targets set up out here on a little path. And I've got them set up in such a way that when you make the loop, you can oftentimes shoot at, depending on where you're at, you can shoot at the same target from multiple angles. I really like having a 3D course here at the house, even if you have just one 3D target. I really feel like it does help you prepare for those hunting shots rather than just shooting at a bale or shooting at a block target or something like that. Just having that form of that animal. And the great thing about these 3D targets is in a situation like this, you can set them up in different areas, different shooting positions, uphill, downhill, through brush, where you have to shoot under things or over things. And so having all of that variety in your shooting is really going to help you dial in for hunting season. So when we set our targets up in the springtime, I get the 2 boys to come out here and help me, and they really like that. They like helping out, setting up the range, and then coming out and shooting them with their bow. Good shot, all right, I like it. But when I set these things up, I've got targets everywhere from about 10 yards on up to this last shot coming down the hill is all the way out to 50 yards. The first one is set up right out my back door, so every morning, from about early June until hunting season starts, I come out of my door and it's about 25 yards, 28 yards from my back door to my first target, and I shoot that target every single day. And I shoot that one with broadheads. You'll notice that it's got a big worn out spot in the middle because I shoot broadheads into it every day, and I've been doing that for a year. And so what I did was just take my oldest target, my most worn out target, and put up there, and it's just kind of the sacrificial target. The rest of them I don't shoot broadheads into, I just shoot field tips. And with these targets that I've got here, these are RealWild targets. If you just shoot field tips into them, they're gonna last forever. I like to try to mimic a real life hunting situation as closely as possible. And so having uneven ground or having brush or grass that you have to shoot through, anything that you can do that's going to replicate the type of hunting situations that you're going to find yourself in is going to be beneficial to you. If you're shooting from a tree stand primarily, you need to set up a tree stand and shoot your targets from a tree stand. The vast majority of hunting that I do is on the ground, and so I just set these targets up so that I have uphill and downhill and side hill shots where I've got uneven footing and I have to vary my stance. Now these targets aren't cheap, I realize that, and so it's probably going to be cost prohibitive for you to go out and just straight up buy half a dozen targets. But if you shoot field tips into these things, they're going to last forever. So if you buy one target every year, most people can swing that, and in a couple of years you've got enough targets where you can set up a decent little range. And if you maximize the number of shots that you can get at each target like that, you can really diversify. So it's about 36 inches tall. The body itself is, I don't know, 40 to the front of the chest, like 44, 43, 44, something like that. The whole deer, up to the top of the ears, it's like 48, 49, something like that. And then the thickness, let's see, at the shoulders, we're looking at probably 12 and a half, 13 inches, something like that. So, I mean, these are big targets. That's one of the things I like about them. A lot of the targets you're going to find, especially at the little retail stores like Cabela's or Sportsman's Warehouse or something like that, they're just little, tiny little things. They're like shooting key deer. So I really like the size of these targets. And the foam, when it comes to the quality of target, it's all about the foam. If the foam is too hard, it wears out too quickly. It can be hard to pull the arrows. It doesn't heal up as quickly. This is self-heal foam, like all the top of the line targets are made out of that self-heal foam. But this stuff, you can stick an arrow into it. When you pull it out, it just kind of seals itself up. You know, just, I think for the money, these things are gonna be the best deal you can get. The mule deer target here is about $350. I've got a whitetail out here, it's like $299. To get an equivalent target like that, equivalent size, quality, and all that stuff, and like a Reinhardt, I mean, you're gonna be close to $500. And the reason that I got in touch with these guys is because I felt like they were the best quality target that you could get at a reasonable price. I mean, for a competition grade target of this size for $300, that's a good deal. So out of all these targets that I have, and I've got a boar, a bear, antelope, I've got a raccoon. The raccoon's really good. The foam on the raccoon is really good. The deer, the easy pull deer, the mule deer and the whitetail, the big buck that I have, these are my favorites because the whole deer is made out of really good, high quality, self-healing foam. The other targets are good, but it's just the kill zone that's made out of that really good foam. The rest of the target is a little bit denser. It's a little bit harder foam than I really like. The deer, if you're gonna buy, if you just can buy one, the deer, the easy pull deer are the way that I would go. So when it comes to 3D targets, I think I have pretty much shot every brand that's available on the market, from Reinhardt's and Mackenzie's to Deltas and some of the cheaper varieties that you can get from the big box stores. And I can tell you 100% for the money, these RealWild targets, especially the easy pull big buck and the easy pull mule deer, are the best 3D targets for the money. Now, you could spend $500 on a Reinhardt, and Reinhardts are great 3D targets, but in my opinion, I mean, the foam on these targets is just as good, and they're gonna last just as long, and they are, you know, you can get the whitetail, the big buck, easy pull big buck for $300. To get an equivalent target of the same size, the same quality, in something like a Mackenzie or a Reinhardt, you're gonna be much, much more expensive.